Welcome to the Dave Mierswa Show, the cutting-edge talk show about legal, political, and current issues. Practicing in both Wisconsin and Illinois, David Mierswa is a leading trial attorney bringing nearly 2 decades of business law, family law, personal injury, and estate planning experience to you. The Dave Mierswa Show, about the people, for the people, and bringing justice to the people. The Dave Mierswa Show, its guests, agents, and WRLR are not rendering any legal advice. All listeners are encouraged to seek legal advice from properly licensed and qualified professionals.
Good afternoon. It is Sunday, 12 noon, and it is time for the Dave Mierswa Show. Once again, it is my privilege to come to you live from WRLR radio studios here in Round Lake Beach Heights. And I got to tell you, I just got back from Naples, Florida. I'm fired up. Took a vacation for 11 days. And I am so excited to be back, and not so much weather-wise, but getting back on the radio. I got a lot of things to talk about here, and we're headed really long into 2016 politics, and we just got done with South Carolina, and how exciting is that? Just incredible results, and everyone thinks that the Trumpster is going to disappear, and he is around to stay. Trump is not going anywhere. So I'll get into that. So my show today is obviously about South Carolina political results, and I have a bunch of great audio clips. But before I get into that, I want to go over a couple of housekeeping matters here. My background. I've been a lawyer for almost 20 years. I bring 20 years experience to this radio show. I also bring street smarts to this radio show. So I also seek diverse opinions. And if you listen to the intro, this show is about the people, for the people, and bringing justice to the people. Let me say that again. The show about the people, for the people, and bringing justice to the people. This is a live show, folks. So all you listeners out there, we're done with the football season. We're not quite in the baseball season yet, but looks like spring is starting to kind of liven up a little bit. I was down in Naples, and I saw on the news that Chicago got up to like almost 60 degrees. But there's a price to pay. The weather was so windy out there. And I saw on CNN News that a gas station's cover where all the cars and all that are protected fell over. So, that's the Midwest for you folks. I grew up in Wisconsin, and, one day it's good, and next day it's 2 feet of snow. But that's why I love the Midwest. Okay, so to let everyone know that I have all of my previous shows on law540.com. That's right. All of my previous audio shows for the last 6-7 months has been uploaded to law540.com. Law540.com. Also, starting at the beginning of this year, I started taping, and I have all of my shows starting from January up on YouTube. So, pretty awesome. You not only can hear my voice, you can see my pretty face up on YouTube. And all you got to do is Google or go to YouTube, it's Dave Mierswa, and then you'll start to see all my shows there. My last name is spelled Mierswa. Okay, let me do my shout-outs that I always do at the beginning of my show. And I always try to make a difference in people's lives. And this show is about educating people as well as seeking diverse opinions that you can become educated on. And also, I do throw my opinion in, which is 20 years of being a hardcore trial lawyer and transactional attorney. So, my first shout out is to Kay's Animal Shelter in Arlington Heights. If you are looking for an animal, I always try to recommend not to go to a breeder. Go to an animal shelter. There are a ton of animals that need saving. So there's one in Arlington Heights called Kay's Animal Shelter. You can Google them. And also, right out here in Grays Lake is Save a Pet. Save a Pet is right on North Fairfield Road. Just on my way to the studio, I always pass it here. So that's Save a Pet. They have dogs, they have cats there, and the people that work there are all volunteers. And I got to say, that is one of the better shelters that have run. I believe that they're also non-kill animal shelter. I want to educate you a little bit on the kinds of animal shelters that are out there. There are kill animal shelters that are normally ran by cities just because they don't have enough room and they have to unfortunately put these animals down. And these other animal shelters that I talk about, most of them are non-for-profit and non-kill animal shelters. I do know that Save a Pet is a non-kill animal shelter, non-for-profit. And then my last one. This is my favorite animal rescue for a couple of reasons here. It's called Reach Rescue. And they are located in Mundelein, Illinois. It's a non-for-profit, non-kill animal shelter. And they have two different facilities. They have one is the adoption center, and then right next door to them is a resale shop. So if you're looking for any furniture, if you're looking for any couches or knickknacks or anything, to help your college kids out to get their apartment started, anything like that, there's a resale shop there. Everything that is donated, you can get a tax deduction. They also have a pickup. So if you say, look, I don't have the time and I don't have the muscle to lift all this stuff and drop it off, they'll come get it from you. So that's Reach Rescue. You can call them at, the resale shop is 847-566-6799, 847-566-6799. And then if you have any rescue, call 847-637-5661, 847-637-5661. And I got one more shout out here today. And this is a candidate forum event that is today. And it looks like it's for the 10th Congressional District and Lake County State's Attorney. That's pretty cool. Looks like the Lake County's State's Attorney will be there. And it is sponsored by the League Women Voters, Brown Lake Area Library, and WRLR 98.3 FM. That's this radio station here. And it looks like Michael Perello, I know of him. I practice law here in Lake County. I know of him. I haven't really had a lot of dealings with him because I don't practice criminal law, but I bumped into a lot of the assistant DAs. Then also Matt Stanton will be there. And it looks like today it's going to be at 1:30 p.m. located at Round Lake Beach Cultural Center, 2007 North Civic Center Way in Round Lake Beach. Again, at 1:30, located at Round Lake Beach Cultural Center, 2007 North Civic Center Way, Round Lake Beach, Illinois. So if you're looking for something to do today, I recommend that you stop by these animal shelters, donate a little time, take care of animals, and then also get involved with the political scene of Lake County. So that's pretty cool. You can stop in over there. Okay, that are all my shout outs today. I always have quite a few of them, and that's for all the animal shelters. Now I want to get right back into my show here. I got so many great information here today, and I got an hour-packed show. So let's see what we can do to move this show along. All right, so I always talk about WRLR in this radio show, the Dave Mierswa Show, is a family-friendly radio station, and this is a family-friendly radio show. So if you have any kids, they can listen in. You're going to get educated on the legal process, and also this show covers hard-hitting topics that a lot of people talk about behind the scenes, but out in public they're a little bit shy. I've never been shy. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm kind of in-your-face personality. Being a trial lawyer, I definitely, bring it to the forefront. So that's what the show is all about. Okay, my first audio clip here today is going to be on Ben Carson. Let's get Ben Carson fired up here. And let me see if I can find, yep, here we go. Let me fire up his audio here, and we'll see what he has to say this past weekend.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, all of our wonderful supporters. Thank you for all of the staff who have just done an amazing job here. And, there are news people here who think that I'm going to make a concession speech. Now, this is just the beginning speech that we're going to have today. That's the beginning. It's interesting, but when this thing started, there were 17 candidates. There are only 6 now, and I'm still one of them. And I'm not going anywhere. Now, we have a little bit of a different situation than many of the other candidates who are funded in different ways, but we're funded by we the people. And I will steadfastly continue to refuse to take money from special interest groups and billionaires who want to influence me. Those people are not looking for the good of America. And those are the same people, I guarantee you, who will continue to influence America if we put people in office who are beholden to them. That will not change. We have to be willing to make dramatic changes. We can't just mess around the edges. We got to go to the heart of the matter, because our nation is very close to going off the cliff. And what I am attempting to do as a true outsider, and when I say a true outsider, I mean I've never tried to buy anybody or sell anybody or do anything to influence what was going on in government for my own purposes. That's an insider. You can call them what you want. But the fact of the matter is, what we need is recognition of the fact that the way our country was designed, it was designed for citizen statesmen, not career politicians. And right now, there is a political class that consists of the Washington establishment and the news media and the pundits, and they believe that they have complete control of our country. They only have complete control if we give them complete control. It is we the people who really have the power. The problem is, if we don't exercise the power, then they continue to have the control. And this is a message that I'm going to be taking across the nation to try to help the people of America recognize that we still have the ability to dictate the course of our country. We still have the ability to save it for the next generation. We can do it. If we continue down the same path that we have been going, that will never happen. And, I never really actually intended to get into the political world, I must admit. And since I've gotten into it, what I have discovered...
Okay, that's enough of Ben Carson. I love the guy, and he just puts me to sleep. He's very analytical, and the guy's a surgeon. So can you imagine, how much education that the gentleman has? I respect the heck out of Ben Carson, but When you get into a political environment, you have to rally the troops. You got to have some energy, and the guy just keeps putting me to sleep. So, and then I don't think he was really serious. He just said, well, I kind of had intentions of getting into the politics, but it kind of sounded like he did. And his voice was kind of hesitant. And he was promoting books and stuff like that. So, maybe he's going to stick around. But the results were, he had like 4 or 5% of the vote in South Carolina. There's no way he's going to win. There is absolutely no way he's going to win. Now, last week, I'm on vacation, and I'm watching the news. And I couldn't believe my ears when I heard this next audio clip. Okay? And it's on video, too. You can YouTube this. But I'm not going to tell you the name of this person. I'm just going to play the audio clip. This is going to take off, and this is going to be forever in the covers of political mania when you hear this audio clip. Let me play this. And remember before, 2 weeks ago, man, it seems like 5 years ago, last time I've been on the radio. But I played a really funny audio clip. And you have to have a great sense of humor. And let me play the next audio clip.
We could have an immediate reaction as to whether it was true or not. Well, we trained this dog. And the dog, if it's not true, he's going to bark. And then the dog was barking on the radio. And so, people were like barking at each other for days after that. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that with the Republicans. We need to get that dog and follow them around, and every time they say these things, like, the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation. I think we could cut right through a lot of their their claims. Reaction as to whether it was true or not. Well, we've trained this dog, and the dog, if it's not true, he's going to bark. And then the dog was barking on the radio. And so, people were like barking at each other for days after that. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that with the Republicans. We need to get that dog and follow them around, and every time they say these things, like, the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation. I think we could cut right through.
I'm almost speechless. I'm not, but she started barking and trying to make some analogy to the Republicans being like dogs. And last week was the International Dog Show, and she was trying to make an analogy to that. And it just turned out to be one of the worst video and sound bites of 2016 politics. And a couple weeks ago, I played this other sound clip. Let me play this, and then you'll remember this gentleman. Hold on.
About to say, I'm sure there's some disappointed people here. You know what? You know something? If you had told us 1 year ago that we were going to come in third in Iowa, we would have given anything for that. And you know something? Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. We're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah! Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
Yeah, you guessed it. That was Dean Howard. So, I finally have a comparison to Dean Howard. Oh my God. So we got Dean Howard from, must have been 8 years ago, something like that, and his yee-haw, and now we got Hillary barking. So I'm going to play that throughout the spring and summer here and throughout the election year until something better comes along. There's nothing better than hearing Hillary bark. So, folks, you can't make this stuff up. And who would have thought at the beginning of 2016 politics, rolling back into last summer, last fall, we had like 17 or 18 Republican candidates. And we're finally down to 5. We're finally down to 5. And I think everyone has, I know a lot of people are burned out from the Clintons and also the Bushes. A lot of people say, the Bushwhackers and, they got a bunch of nicknames, but the Bushes, they've did put a lot of time into the politics, and I know Obama loves to go back and blame GW for stuff that happened, 9, 12 years ago, 3 presidential cycles ago, but, hey, why not? But let's hear what Jeb had to say over the weekend, last Saturday night after the results came in.
But the people of Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina have spoken, and I really respect their decision. So tonight, I am suspending my campaign. Yeah. Thank you. I congratulate my competitors that are remaining on the island on their success for a race that has been hard fought, just as the contest for the presidency should be, because it is a tough job. In this campaign, I have stood my ground, refusing to bend to the political winds. We put forward detailed, innovative, conservative plans to address the mounting challenges that we face, because despite what you might have heard, ideas matter, policy matters. And I truly hope that these ideas that we've laid out will serve as a blueprint for a generation of conservative leaders at every level of government so that we can take back our country. We laid out plans on everything from reforming our tax and regulatory system to reviving our economy to rebuilding our military and to fixing the VA once and for all. Finally, I am so grateful to Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina here for his steadfast support and his amazing humor. He stole the line that I'm now saying, which is that he's become a friend for life. I thank all of the Jeb alumni, many of them are here, that have been going door to door all across the country, who have put their lives on hold for this cause. And I want to thank my mom and brother who came here to South Carolina. America truly loves them and respects them, and so do I. I want to thank all my family. 2.0 is always back there in the back. And to my dad, who has served as an inspiration to me. He's the greatest man alive, and he continues to be that. I want to thank all the volunteers and supporters that I've met along this incredible journey, and to all the fellow grinders in our campaign, our staff, who never, ever, ever gave up. I've had an incredible life, and for me, public service has been the highlight of that life. But no matter what the future holds, here's the greatest safety landing if you can imagine. Tonight I'm going to sleep with the best friend I have and the love of my life. And I'm totally blessed to be the father of 3 extraordinary children, and as you might know, 4 near-perfect grandchildren. And I'll be blessed to say that I'm living in the greatest country the world has ever known. I remain optimistic, and with the right kind of leadership that we all need to work to make sure happens, America's best days are ahead. With strong conservative leadership, Republicans can win the White House, and we can get back to being in the verge of having the greatest time to be alive. And that's what I honestly...
All right, we're listening in there. Jeb Bush in Columbia.
Okay, so that was pretty stand-up of Jeb Bush. And I know GW came out, and the whole family came out. He had Barbara come out, his mom, and hit the trail. And, so I got to give it hands off. The Bush family has done a lot for this country. I know Americans are kind of burned out from the Clintons and definitely the Bushes, but that was pretty awesome of him to bow out now, and he thanked all of his supporters, and he thanked his wife and his family, and so, hats off to him. You got to say, he was very gentlemanlike. He did get into the street fights a little bit with Trump and so forth. And if you get into a street fight with Trump, you better have your arguments in order, and you better have Teflon as well, because Trump, I'm telling you, Trump is not going anywhere. This guy, he's got an ego and so forth, but he is serious. And he's going to do, if this Republican Party does not wrap the Republican conservative flag around Trump, there's going to be a third party. That's one of my predictions possibly for 2016. I want to tell you one other thing. I got about a minute or two here before I have to go on break. And I was a really real starch collar conservative, and the Republicans can do no wrong. And I got to tell you what happened this past week, a week and a half, with Scalia, the Supreme Court justice, passed away, and Scalia was really one of the huge flags for conservative in the law and also in politics. And with the passing of him, the biggest fight for 2016 is going to be the nomination to the Supreme Court. Because right now we have 4 conservative and then we have 4 liberal judges. So it literally hangs in the balance. And America hangs in the balance, as if we didn't have enough to worry about. As I stated before, I was a conservative Republican. I've shed away all of the Republican and all of that armor I used to have. I got rid of it. I am completely independent now. I am an independent voter. I've always been independent thinker. Okay? But the Republican Party has punted one too many times with what Obama wanted. And just a few months ago, they passed a $4 trillion budget. So, this is why. And a lot of the anti-Trump supporters don't get it. We're not happy. I can't use the words to describe exactly, but P.O. So, a lot of the base of the Trump people are not happy. They are upset. I mean, they don't go around enraged and all that, but they're unhappy with the entire political agenda coming out of Washington. And I gotta say, I'm one of them. And one of the things that I've done, I've met people from WRLR, and that's one of the main reasons why I started this radio show, is to start giving true and accurate information and not relying on these agenda-seeking politicians out of Washington. Okay, with that big mouthful, I gotta go to break. I gotta get a little coffee here. I'm still waking up. I just got back from Naples. So, I literally flew in this morning, and I was getting ready for the radio show here. So that's right, I came from the airport here so you guys could hear me talk. Isn't that great? So anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to go to break here for a couple minutes. Then we'll be back in about 3-4 minutes. Okay, so stay tuned in, and I'll be back just a couple seconds here.